Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. 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 Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep.
Right.
Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting.
Yeah.
Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day.
Yeah.
They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA.
Right.
Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We doing a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Tuesday evening here inside the studio. For those of you that have made us a part of your nightly habits, Monday through Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, our apologies for a little bit of an audible tonight. We tried to let you know last night, if you're locked in every single night, this one wouldn't have caught you by surprise. Going to go live tonight on Tuesday, November 11th at 6:50 as a way to get our college football playoff rankings takes ahead of the show and then do a watch along with you guys like we so often enjoy doing during college football playoff ranking reveals. We have a good opportunity. We have a good time here on this show every single Tuesday. It is very chaotic, if you will. It is very fly by the seat of the pants. It's very unscripted while also extremely scripted because we're kind of waiting to see what ESPN does when ESPN does it. But we're going to go through all of the talking points that you need to know about going into this second playoff rankings reveal. Most importantly, what's going to happen at number 2? Is Indiana still number 2? Is Texas A&M worthy of that number 2 overall spot? We'll talk about that. What do they do now that BYU lost convincingly to Texas Tech this weekend? Now that we know a little bit more about the Big 12, the ACC wet down its leg yet again this weekend. What happens there? There's a potential nightmare scenario for the Atlantic Coastal Conference that we'll talk about tonight. How many SEC teams do we ultimately get in? We got a lot to talk about tonight on the show. But I do want to ask this, okay? If you are watching us live right now, if you're one of the hundreds of people that are in the chat right now, I need you to hit that thumbs up button. We have changed so many things tonight on the release time, the live show, all that good stuff, and we've already uploaded so much content today that not a lot of people got this notification. Those of you that were locked in are here though. So I need you to help put this in front of other people as well. Hit that thumbs up button. Fire off in that chat. Let's get after it, boys. Let's go ahead and go to the board and go through all of our scenarios, all of our takes before ultimately ESPN joins in and gives us college football playoff rankings. We good?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Y'all excited?
Let's do it.
It's week 2 of the college football playoff rankings. Last week, we had ours. I think ours didn't differ all that much than the actual playoff rankings committee. Did it last week, boys? We are ultra dark this week over here.
You know,
it's because that whiteboard's so white.
I think the whiteboard is white.
All right. Let's see if we can white balance it just a tad bit. and as soon as I dip out,
Hasn't done that in the past.
all right. Maybe if I stand on this side of it. What do we do there, Kirby? Zoom 2 out for me.
You want it zoomed out?
Yeah, zoom 2 out for me. We should have probably done this pre-show. That's on me. Zoom 2 out on me and see if it white balances for us. There's a lot more light and color on that, and I'll be good on making sure people can hear what I'm actually showing. Nope, we got all kind of white balance. Even more. Go even more, even wider. This is what we love about live program. I told you it's seat of the pants out here. Why didn't we have this issue last week?
I don't know. We had the same graphic up.
Had the same exact graphic up last week. All right, here we go. We got a PowerPoint ready for you guys, a nice visual. I don't care if I'm dark. All they need to see is this. Put us back into our normal planning. All right, we're going to go 1 to 12 because we think here on the network it's a little bit discombobulated down there, 9 through 12, especially figuring out non-power 5, all that good stuff. So let's show number 1. That is very obvious, clear cut. Our number 1 seed is nice and easy, Ohio State. I mean, that's obvious. Everybody knows they are the most dominant football team in college football at the moment. There is no debate. Now, the debate becomes at that number 2 and number 3 spot between Texas A&M and Indiana. Boys, how do you feel about this discussion? Me personally, I think A&M's body of work and dominance over the last 2 months of college football would let me be okay putting them at number 2.
Yeah, I'd be fine with Texas A&M coming in at 2. I think they've been very consistent throughout the season. Anytime they've had to show up for one of their big matchups on the schedule, they've managed to do that. They've beaten down a couple of teams that they should. I just think that the body of work, like you mentioned, the consistency that they've shown, and I think while they have been consistent, they've also continued to show growth throughout the year. Not that Indiana hasn't, but I think I've been a little bit more impressed late in the season with Texas A&M as opposed to Indiana.
So A&M undefeated with two strugglesome wins, right? They kind of fought and scratched on the road against Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And who is the other team they kind of eked out a win against?
Arkansas.
That was a 14-point game, 17-point game that Arkansas kind of garbage scored late to get in close.
Yeah.
But on paper, it looks relatively slim. I bring that up because to add into this, argument point in favor of A&M, if we ultimately put them here at 2, they've dominated their slate a lot more than Indiana has. Mm-hmm. Indiana has, got a close win over Oregon, big-time win, and a close win over Iowa, and now a close win over Penn State this past weekend. So they have a couple of these, nail-biters, if you will, whereas A&M hasn't had one of these in, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they had one 3 weeks ago against Arkansas. The Arkansas one wasn't as far back as we thought. They had very good performances against LSU and Missouri. I think that if you want to take down what A&M's, or if you want to make the argument that Indiana is more deserving of the number 2 spot, you would look at some basic statistics of, yeah, Texas A&M has looked better overall in the eye test in some areas, but they've also given up 24 points to UTSA. They didn't have a strong showing against them. Didn't have a strong showing against Utah State. The Arkansas game, it was a backdoor cover, but it also wasn't necessarily much better of a win. I think giving up or only scoring 16 points against an Auburn team that is very, very bad now is great. So neither one of these resumes are bulletproof, but I think at this point in the game, I could see an argument for either way.
Well, we're SEC hacks, so go ahead and reveal number 2, the Fighting Texas A&M Aggies. Hey, shouts out to the chants. Mm-hmm. I'm woke on Texas A&M. Have you heard this movement about chants? You heard this? They're going to chant Marcel Reed's name all 4 quarters. They're going all over social media chanting Marcel Reed's name. They're trying to start a Heisman campaign for their quarterback out there in College Station. That obviously means number 3 is Indiana. And at number 4, Alabama, correct? Yeah,
yep.
the second highest ranked SEC football team and the 4th overall team in our college playoff rankings. Not an imperfect football team, though, or not a perfect football team. They have some flaws. I mean, we've seen them week over week not be able to run the football and not be able to consistently protect their quarterback.
Yeah, no, I think the only takeaway that we have from this right now is the only teams that in that top 4 that are necessarily perfect are Ohio State, and they haven't really been put in a position where they'd have to strain at all. They have a really impressive win in week 1 against Texas, but week 1 is so far removed now that are those the same 2 teams that played? It'd be very interesting to see what would happen if Texas and Ohio State played again, but yeah, they are the quintessential perfect team right now.
I think the other talking point to this as well is, the top 4 consists of who we believe is going to play for the Big Ten championship at the moment, and the 2 teams that are set to play in the SEC championship as well, Texas A&M and Alabama.
That's a great point.
At that point, do you even see any changes? Like, do the losers of those games get bounced out of the top 4?
If they went out up until that point, I think you hold the top 4 tight.
Yeah.
And I also think it's fair is the wrong word you don't use around this time of the year, but I think it is fitting that the Big Ten and the SEC sit atop these 4 seats and should. We all believe, everyone in this chat right now believes these are the far superior conferences to the remaining conferences in college football. Number 5 for us here on tonight's playoff rankings reveal the University of Georgia and the Bulldogs. A dominating win over Mississippi State, their first really of the year in full complementary fashion. We have talked a lot about how A&M has dominated opponents on both sides of the football and played well-balanced complementary football. Georgia had their first crack at exactly that this past weekend against Mississippi State. Show me number 6 right here against that 11th seed, a team that Georgia has beaten. Their lone loss out there at Ole Miss, the Ole Miss Rebels. Now, there was a debate here at 6 and 7 between Ole Miss or Oregon. Now, we chose Ole Miss. Defend or make a case for Oregon being the 6th ranked team after a road win over a ranked Iowa football team.
Yeah, I think the question here is, like, do you want to punish Ole Miss for not playing a ranked opponent this past weekend while Oregon did? They played Citadel, so the typical SEC teams playing cupcakes in November.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? Or Oregon earned a win against a ranked Iowa team, which everybody expected to be a close game. So if you want to say that, well, it was a close one, they're better than Iowa, but they got out of that one. They escaped out of there with a win. They found a way to get out of there with a win, kept their playoff hopes alive. And this was an Oregon team, by the way, that we said probably can't afford to take a second loss.
Here's why this is important tonight for these guys. If they come in at 7 tonight, if everyone above them continues to win out, there's better resume and work left on the remaining schedules for everybody else, like an Ole Miss, than there is for Oregon. All that's left for Oregon is USC, correct?
Yeah, Washington got beat last week.
Washington got beat last week. So all there really is left is, and I know all that is left for Ole Miss is a Mississippi State, rivalry game. But you see what I'm saying? There's not a big chance left for them to overjump a football team ahead of them. Show me number 7 right here, and then go ahead and show me number 8 here on the board, Kirby. We went with Texas Tech, a massive and dominating fashion win this past weekend. I wouldn't be surprised, boys, to see Texas Tech vaulted up much higher in these guys' rankings in a couple of minutes than what we did with ours. But I think we hold firm that the Big 12 is the 3rd best conference, and we're good with that, having them behind some of these Big 10 and SEC teams that we believe are a little bit better. And look, it's not like they're an undefeated Big 12 team.
Yeah.
They have a loss. It was Arizona State on the road.
Yeah, I mean, Texas Tech is one of these teams that will likely continue to rise. Like, if they continue to win out, they win the Big 12, they're probably going to be even higher than they are right now in our bracket at number 8. So there's still opportunity for them to keep climbing up these rankings. Got a massive win over BYU. You would imagine that they're going to have another shot at BYU in the Big 12 championship game. So they have plenty of opportunities still remaining for them to continue to climb up.
It's funny you say. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the thing you're realizing right now is that this top 6 or 7 is so backlogged right now because these teams keep winning. Ohio State won, Alabama won, Indiana won, A&M. All of these teams are winning right now, so it's not creating a lot of movement in these rankings, which, of course, the debates then have come in with, the eye test. Indiana's win wasn't as good as Texas A&M's and stuff like that. So I think that's what you're going to see. And as time goes on, these teams are probably more likely to lose.
I mean, it's obviously eye test has a lot to do with this. It's obviously not a straight metrics ranking, or else the metrics say A&M is the best team in the country, not Ohio State. The eye test is telling us Ohio State is far and away the number 1 team in the country. And maybe there's a debate there. I can't quite remember. But I think the analytics favor A&M and what they've done in terms of work and resume. Let's go on to number 9. This would have been BYU's spot last week. Obviously took a loss this week. We've got Notre Dame. They were at 10. They bump up into that 9 spot after a relatively convincing second half against Navy. Pretty sloppy, wet, rainy conditions out there against Navy. They leaned on the run game in the second half. They're a tough team to beat right about now offensively. They got a lot of ways to get you, both in the run game now and as the quarterback and weapons continue to develop, man. They're a real threat as an offense. And the defense continues to get better. I feel like they're finding their identity more and more every week.
I think 9 is the perfect spot for Notre Dame from here on out because of what their resume is, what the wins they have are, the fact that they are a 2-loss team. They're the highest ranked 2-loss team we have on here. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
I think you're right.
And so it's just one of those things where, hey, win out, you're in a good spot. If you lose, you are automatically off of this picture. So it makes sense.
Absolutely. Let's go on to number 10 and see what we got there. Texas. All right, the highest ranked two-loss SEC football team, highest-ranked two-loss team, non-Notre Dame related, right there at number 10. All their work left ahead of them. They're good to go. They just got to win out. A lot of resume left. I mean, they could find themselves vaulting all the way up to 5.
Oh, yeah.
Honest to God, like if they go on the road and beat Georgia and beat A&M late in the season,
For sure.
they've got a good argument for a 5th-ranked seed.
I mean, there's a world where Texas wins out, makes the SEC championship, wins that, and gets a top 4 seed. Like,
Absolutely.
For as much as we
Are they
declared,
still in play for the SEC championship? Well, I guess if they beat the 2 teams ahead of them, Georgia and A&M,
they only have 1 conference loss.
You're right.
So
You're
I mean,
absolutely right.
if as much as we have declared this season a disaster and all those things, like there is a world where we wake up on December and say, "Oh my gosh, Texas is SEC champions and will be an automatic top 4 seed."
All right, here's where it gets really, really hairy. We're having to do some projections. We are going to project Georgia Tech to be the ACC champion tonight. So that makes them the 11th seed. All right, so go ahead and give me that one. And then the 12th seed goes to the highest non-Power 4. The only ranked non-Power 4 team right now is James Madison. Shout out to Bobby Chesney's football team. The James Madison Dukes right there at number 12. Now, there is a nightmare scenario here, guys, for the ACC.
We have
as we have the rankings coming out. 25 Cincinnati. Let's go back to the desk right now. You saw our rankings 1 through 12. All right, again, projecting Georgia Tech in there at number 11.
There's your G5 team.
There's
USF
your G5. So South Florida ranked 24th right now. They will get the 12th overall seed in the bracket currently in this week's playoff reveal. All right, now Cincinnati at 25, South Florida at 24. Now, South Florida not ahead of their own conference standings right
Correct.
now.
Navy
is atop that list. Now, they still play one another, right? Do they play each other this week?
I believe. I don't know if it's this week, but I know that they play one of the. There's 4 one-loss teams in the conference right now.
Dude, the Americans nuts. If you're not watching, I've been hyping it up, and y'all think I'm playing. I think they're better than the ACC right now. Deeper for sure. Number 23, Tennessee at 6-3. You know, they got some tough ones still left on the slate. Number 22, Pittsburgh. Yes, the 7-2 Pittsburgh Panthers that have played 1 Power 4 football team with a winning record in the middle of November. We love that. We love that. Welcome College Game Day. Notre Dame can beat us 100-10. It's all good. We're fine and dandy.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment. But you know what? If they go out and win that game, things get really, really interesting for them. So,
I mean, dude, they still got a path to the ACC championship, I'm pretty sure. Even, it's a non-con game this weekend. Number 21, the Iowa Hawkeyes. They fall 1 spot after the loss last week at home to the Oregon Ducks. Obviously, they thought highly of that matchup between those 2 teams.
Dropping 1 spot at that point is just a formality of, hey, we have to drop you because you lost, but you played about as good of a game as you could have against a top 10 team that many thought coming into the season would go 12-0. So, just a very tip of the cap from the committee in my opinion.
As the chat is indicating, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and firing off in there. Fresh off a loss, the Louisville Cardinals at 7-2 coming in at number 20. Pretty bad loss this weekend to Cal.
Horrendous loss to
on
Cal,
the
I would
road.
say.
Last play of the football game. It was tight, don't get me wrong, but that's an ugly one. Because Cal had been downsliding, right?
Yeah, they started off as a team was like,
playing
ooh,
bad ball.
that team might be a little interesting, and then
Frisky and fun, and then
they started declining.
I mean, they're just pairing this Virginia and Louisville Cardinal team together. Virginia in there at 19. Both teams were ranked 14 and 15 collectively last week. Now both dropped 5 spots down there at 19 and 20. The highest ranked the lowest ranked 2-loss team out of the Big Ten, Michigan, because you would assume 17 would be USC here, probably pairing those 2-loss Big Ten teams pretty closely together.
you would assume
Those
so,
teams have
yeah.
played each other, right?
Yes, USC won.
USC won that football game, so maybe respecting a head-to-head here for all you they don't like head-to-head matchup guys. Perhaps we see USC a little bit higher. They beat Northwestern pretty convincingly on Friday night, I felt. Nope, USC in there at 17. Chat's doing a hellified job of letting y'all know to hit that thumbs up button. Shout out to those guys. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. 7-2 USC, my sneaky dark horse for a football team that controls their own destiny and actually can do it. Number 16, an 8-1 Georgia Tech. Is that the highest ranked ACC team?
Got to be.
Miami's still available.
Miami, excuse me. I feel like those 5 teams on the board, Louisville, Virginia.
Whoa. Well, I guess because they have a win over Notre Dame. They're going to put a 2-loss Miami over Georgia Tech here?
Yeah, the committee is not loving Georgia Tech. That's what we know about
I
them.
mean, you go back. If you look at that record,
Oh, the resume is not great.
The resume is some poop. And the fact that it's combined with it, and it's Miami is ranked 15, so it's only one ahead.
I'll say it. Georgia Tech and Miami line up today. I'm picking the Buzz.
Understandable. I mean, I don't think that you're going to get much pushback on that. I do understand why Miami gets that ranking, though.
Let's also remember that Miami played this past weekend and Georgia Tech did not. So Miami
fair.
has a reason
Fresher.
to move up, at least, like played a recent game.
Yeah, and I mean, the next time Georgia Tech plays will be off of a loss. So it's understandable, in my opinion.
Huh.
But I think this shows us that the ACC is still very, very much in play here.
In play, but up for grabs.
It's very much so, but I think
And it's also could be cluster effed by the fact that Duke could win out and play.
Yeah, I mean,
And
if
win
that
the conference
happens,
championship.
if that happens at that point, I think Duke would then climb into the top 25.
Is that what you think by having all those 14 to 18 or 15 to 18 as Vanderbilt comes in at number 14 at 8-2?
I will say this. I think Pittsburgh, of all the ACC teams, has the best remaining resume potentially. Like, if they beat Notre Dame this week and then they play Georgia Tech as well, I mean, they could pick up 2 really good wins despite what their resume looks like right now.
Number 13, the Utes, Utah, coming in at 7-2. Another sneaky, who have you really beaten football team? Mm-hmm. They've played 2 good teams and gotten shellacked by both of them.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
the 13th
Well, I guess
ring.
BYU didn't beat their ass.
No.
BYU kind of beat them late.
Who does Utah have
Texas
remaining?
Tech damn sure did. Texas Tech doggy walked them boys. I would imagine BYU comes in at 12.
You would have to. They better. I mean, staying in the top.
They can't
10,
be behind a team that they've beaten.
Well, staying in the top 10 after that game would be a bad for me.
Come on.
Yeah, I
What
mean
are
the
they dragging
problem.
this
The
for?
problem with Utah is that they have Baylor, Kansas State, and Kansas remaining.
BYU is indeed there at number 12, but they're first out because USF would assume that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right?
there's Utah
There's
is
quote-
first out because you're getting an ACC team in there.
No. Yeah, well, number 11's first out at that point.
Correct.
Yeah, which is probably going to be Texas.
Most
No,
likely.
Oklahoma, because Texas has the head-to-head.
Correct.
Oklahoma in at 11. They are very much so respecting the head-to-head, apart from Notre Dame and Miami, which Miami's the highest-ranked ACC team, so they're respecting that win over Notre Dame. They just don't like the fact that you lost to Louisville and SMU in 2 out of 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, and your losses are more recent than Notre Dame.
And if they really, really watched those last 2 wins, they weren't all that impressive either. I didn't love what they put on display against Syracuse, did you?
No.
I didn't love what they put on display against Stanford, did you?
it took them a long time to get rolling against
Both
Syracuse.
games.
And-
Both
and-
games.
and-
They're tied, what, 7 or 14-7 at the half against Stanford?
Yeah, I mean, hey guys,
Yeah.
we're running passes to Carson Beck to get our first touchdown of the day.
We're running trick plays to get on the board against winless in
Oh, my
conference
gosh.
Syracuse.
Pitt
Number
plays
10,
Notre Dame,
Texas.
Georgia Tech, and Miami. to
Oh yeah,
close.
dude. If Pitt wins out, they in the chill.
Texas
they
at
in the
10.
playoffs, huh?
Texas
in
at
at
10,
10,
understandably.
which we expect Notre Dame here to be at 9 as
we've-
well.
So we've got a top 10 matchup in Athens this Saturday.
After all that early in the year, Texas late in the season controls their own destiny. It's amazing what a blue chip roster will do for you.
Yep.
You know, and a $10 million quarterback who's playing extremely well right about now. In my opinion, we haven't gotten too far into the preview tonight. We will in the local hour with that football game coming up, but I think he's their lone chance this weekend against Georgia. Do you guys agree? Defense and Arch?
I think they have
That's their recipe
I think
to
there's a
winning?
handful of things that will give them a chance, but Arch is certainly on.
I mean,
that
I don't
list.
mean to say like they're a 14-point dog. It's like it's a 4-point game. So I'm just saying if they win, the recipe is Arch and defense. Number 9, Notre Dame. Number 8, Oregon. So Oregon moves up a spot but remains behind. Who is our debate? Oregon.
So I
and-
imagine Texas
and
Tech
Texas
is coming
Tech
up,
coming up at 7.
and then Ole Miss.
And then Ole Miss. So they kept a good gap there between Ole Miss. Ole Miss down to
excuse us.
7.
Ole
Texas
Miss
Tech
down to
up to
7.
6.
Oh.
I told you, man. Hey, they laid the woodwork for Lubbock. I mean, good God.
And I
Does
think-
everybody love
I
Lubbock?
was gonna say I think this is less of you played the Citadel, we're punishing you, as it was. Hey, Texas Tech, you hosted another top 10 team and beat the hell out of them.
I mean, beat their doors off.
That
Yeah.
would not necessarily concern me because Ole Miss controls everything in front of them, but concern me the fact that Ole Miss doesn't have a signature win left, signature win possibility left on the schedule. I mean, they're pretty much breezing their way through the remainder of the year. So they could continue to kind of get knocked down a little bit considering Oregon could play a ranked USC, pick up another big win there. Just might be a little bit
But,
concerning there.
Jonathan, all those teams behind them currently won't be playing for a conference championship game. They will be. So You know, they have a chance. I think they're shaping this up for Texas Tech to
no, I
potentially
was
get a
talking
top
about
4
Ole Miss.
bid. Oh, yeah. No, Ole Miss has got good work left in front of them still to an extent. I mean, not like some of these
That's what I'm saying
teams.
is they don't have a signature win remaining on the schedule.
No, they don't. It's Mississippi State. Number 5, the Georgia Bulldogs at 8-1. Number 4, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Interesting. Those two teams kind of going in different directions right now. Georgia feels like they're kind of peaking. Alabama feels like they're figuring out how to patch flaws, or at least the same consistent flaw.
They went chalk.
Number 3, they went chalk. A&M. That means Indiana, number 2, and Ohio State at number 1. Now, A&M, plenty of work left in front of them to get a top 2. You don't really give a damn, though.
No.
Don't really matter.
No, I mean, Texas A&M just went out and take care of business.
I did see Billy Lucci have a great point, though. Them being at 3 leaves them no wiggle room to lose a game and still get a bye.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if they take a loss, they're probably going to be somewhere in that 7 range now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
whereas if you take a loss at 2, you're probably at 5 or 6. That's all I'm getting at.
Right.
Yeah,
and I think there's a potential down the road where this comes back.
This is true. I don't know if losing a game is going to be that drastic of a drop if you're 2 or 3, though. I think if you lose a game at this point in the season, you probably do, unfortunately, lose that right to have a first-round bye simply because of when the losses come. It's why Notre Dame is ranked so high, because all their losses came at the start of the season.
Yeah.
That's part of the unfortunate benefit. It's not only if you lose, it's when you lose. If you lose in September and you mitigate all those losses and do right by it and keep building yourself up, that's going to be a much better loss for you than something that comes in late November. That's just the way it is.
So they're projecting Miami to win the ACC championship, basically. Mm-hmm. Right? Is that how they're going to do this mythical bracket when they fill this out?
I would assume that's what you have to do. Is just
So they
assume
put
that
South Florida at 12, Miami at 11. That leaves Oklahoma and BYU first out. Now, there is a situation here. Now, you guys don't believe this to be the case, but Duke is, God only knows. What I wish we knew was I wish they gave us the rankings all the way down to like 40. Because here's why. I want to know how bad they think Duke is right now.
Yeah.
Because Duke's got a chance to win the ACC title. And if Duke goes on to win the ACC title and they are not ranked, or JMU is ranked higher than them and the American champ is ranked higher than them, there is a strong chance, or a possibility, I should say, a guaranteed possibility, that the ACC champion's sitting at home in a college football playoff, and we have 2 G5 teams.
that is absolutely a possibility. Here's what I would say. Duke has Virginia, which is ranked 20th or 19th left on the schedule. If we get to that point in the season,
Duke's got 4 losses currently?
Currently, yes. If we get to that point in the season and Duke is 7-4, 8-4, and it's looking like they're gearing up for an SEC championship, I think ACC championship. I think the committee would then look at themselves and say, "Hey, listen, we have to rank this team somewhere. We cannot deal with the backlash of 1, leaving an ACC champion out, and 2, having this big plate of worms on our hands with not having."
Honest to God, I hope it happens. I hope it happens. I want to see what they do.
The chaos would be interesting.
ACC fans and the ACC in general would have I think they'd have something to stand on for, like, this would be the second time that they felt like they got screwed by the playoff committee.
Like, I want to know where James Madison's ranked.
Yeah.
Or do they sit in there only do top 25? If they do, it's a fault in the process.
I'm sure that they have they usually have others receiving votes.
I know, but Jonathan, I need to know. It needs to be like a full model. They need to go all the way down to 40. Because like further down, I need to know where these teams that are possible to be highest ranked conference champs, I need to know where they're at. I need to know what they think about them right now versus what other guys got on their schedule. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That way we can have a level of consistency with these takes, because they are takes, like we have with everything else.
Yeah, and in the defense of the committee, I think a Power 4 conference being this bad this late in the season is so unprecedented for them and so unexpected that they weren't even planning for this.
Oh, it's a byproduct of their own creation out there at the ACC, man.
For sure.
It's not just the fact that they're not as good as they should be. It's not just the fact that Florida State's in the dump. It's not just the fact that Clemson's in the dump. It's the fact that they're watered down and they play 8 conference games. None of these teams play one another. Mm-hmm. That's why we have a situation where Virginia has a loss on the schedule, well, really now 2, but only 1 in conference, despite the fact that one of the losses to NC State, an ACC school. Make it make sense. You can't. 8-4 Pitt's got a chance to win the conference title. Make it make sense. You can't. It's their own. It's a product of their own creation, as is what's going on in the Big Ten with the fact that We can't figure out these strength of schedules. We can't figure out why it's just luck of the draw with these sometimes.
Yeah, again, in the ACC's defense, there are still 4 ranked teams that are in that conference. It is a disaster scenario when it's possible for Duke to win out in there. But if Duke wins out and they do enough to make the conference title game, they're going to be ranked. I think that's the assumption I'm going to make here, if that happens.
So the TV's got the board right there. Of those top 25 teams right now, where is the line of demarcation with regards to that's as far as I'll go, they've got a chance to win a title? I think for me, it's where USC lies, right there at 17. I think USC is the last football team in the rankings where I'm like, I could see you going on and playing for a college football playoff and maybe having a chance to actually do something. Like, I don't think Michigan is. I think Michigan is a flawed roster. Now, they might have something for Ohio State because it's a rivalry game, but I don't think they're capable of going on and winning. I think USC's got good line of scrimmage play and an elite quarterback and some great weapons. I think they could hop their way to a college football playoff game or a win. That's my line, though. That's as far as I go.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because there's some teams in front of them where it's like, I don't know if I would grant them that type of
I know you guys aren't Vandy believers.
well, I mean, Vandy
I'm not
really not even in the picture, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like,
but they're 14. They are if they went out.
Well, maybe. Like,
Jonathan, you are one that's set on all of us are. We're people that stand on this stage all the time and say 10-2 SEC teams are locks for the playoff.
well, I don't know if I would say that because we've also talked about how if there's a handful of 10-2 SEC teams, you have to pick some and you have to leave some out.
Not if you're Greg Sankey. He thinks they should get 10.
Yeah, well, Greg Sankey is crazy for saying
Greg
that.
Sankey's
Well, there are some like real people that have real opinions that think the SEC could get 5 this year.
Yeah, not 8.
Yeah, I know.
8
I'm
is
just saying
ludicrous.
you start the bar at 8, you work back down to 5. You know?
I'm just saying Vanderbilt would be one of those 10-2 SEC teams, in my opinion, that gets left out. In my opinion, that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I don't think Vanderbilt, with what they've done this season, has been. And like, their impressive wins that got them to where they are rankings-wise have since really diminished. Like, that ass-kicking they handed South Carolina, which at the time was a top 15 team, it means very little.
Without Lenore Sellers, by the way.
Correct. It means very little now. You've gotten handled at Texas. Alabama handled you. I think the fact that they really struggled and strained with Auburn this week, now it seems like every team does that and finds a way to beat Auburn, but I think that the assumption or the verdict on Vanderbilt at this point is very scrappy team, very good, not playoff worthy. Now, that could change, but I think that that's probably where you're going to see it lie right now. I do think that we're in an interesting situation here with everything going on in the top 4, simply because you're looking at 2 SEC and 2 Big Ten teams right now. Those 2 teams are probably going to play each other, or just assuming that everything goes the way it does. Ohio State's going to play Indiana in the Big Ten Championship. Alabama's going to play Texas A&M if both of those teams win out right now.
I can 100% guarantee you with everything that Ohio State and Indiana will play.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying.
Those 2 are meeting up in the Big Ten.
If those 2 teams play as top 4 opponents, are they then going to get punished if they lose, to where you lose your
Nobody got punished last year, including the ACC loser.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody got punished.
Correct. But they got punished in the regards of you lost your first round bye. Because now it seems like the first round.
I'll take that back. Did Georgia fall in the rankings? They went from 3 to 5, didn't they?
No, Georgia was number 2 by the time the rankings came out. They jumped because
they were going to the SEC championship. So, in other words, Texas fell, right?
They
did, quote unquote, get punished.
The question,
they might flip flop, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the question I'm posing here is, if Alabama and Texas A&M are 2 top 4 teams by the time of their SEC championship matchup, is it a lock that they have first round byes, or are you then playing for a first round bye? Right.
I think it kind of depends on a couple of factors. Like, if Texas A&M is undefeated, you play a close game against Alabama, like you lose by 3 in that scenario. You've gone undefeated up to that point. You have 1 loss in the SEC championship game. I don't really see them getting punished for that. But if you get blown out in your conference championship game, then yeah, there's reason to potentially punish you in that situation, in my opinion. You just can't lose that one ugly.
So we could be at a situation.
Sorry to cut you off. All the conference games last year were tight, weren't they?
All but
Even the Big Ten game, I mean, it got tight late.
It did get tight.
Got
the
tight late.
The Big 12 was not a close game.
Okay.
Arizona State beat
Rolled.
the hell out of Iowa State. I think that was like a 2 or 3 score victory.
But that was a one bid conference.
Correct.
So and rightfully so. I
Understandably.
think it might be again this year. You know?
But yeah, no, I think that you have an opportunity to where the conference championships don't even mean anything as far as seeding goes.
No, yeah, I mean that's what I was kind of what I was getting at earlier. Is that right now you're kind of in a situation where maybe your top 5 is just kind of set. Like if Georgia wins out, they might just hold strong at number 5, and if the 4 teams in the top 4 play each other in a conference title game, they all win out. I mean, there's a reason to believe that the top 4 will just remain.
Do we have the bracket ready?
Yeah, it's pulled up.
We have is it from On3?
It is on On3.
Shout out to On3. Those guys are locked and dialed. I mean, I don't know if a graphics team works harder and faster than what On3's got. So here we go. We're going to go through the current college football playoff bracket and go ahead and pick this sucker. We feel good about this?
Sure.
Sure.
Y'all want to do, I mean, it's doing this in November. I feel a whole hell of a lot better than doing this in August.
Oh, yeah, we certainly have a good
Yeah.
gauge on the teams.
All right, here we go. Let's start with the 5 versus 12 matchup. Georgia probably favored by a good 17 points in that one.
Yeah.
I think we can all say pretty confidently that we feel like Georgia should win that game.
I will also say this. A wide choice ain't got no smoke for Georgia and Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann. Not at Tennessee, and probably damn sure not at South Florida.
Yeah.
Hey, Bynum Brown, great football player. Don't know if we're going to be able to quarterback draw our way to 30 points.
Bynum Brown against UGA's defense will be very interesting to watch hypothetically, but I favor Georgia in that matchup.
I got C.J. Allen swallowing him up for a good 4 quarters. All right, let's go on to 6 versus 11, Texas Tech versus Miami. This will be an interesting style of clashes. with
I'd
how
take
these
the
guys
Red
play ball.
Raiders.
You take the Red Raiders?
I'd take the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I'd take Joey McGuire over Mario Cristobal in a tight football game right about now.
I think we've seen too much at the point this year where Carson Beck is just a turnover-prone quarterback.
Yeah.
I think we saw last year.
Lord, and that's bad recipe against Texas Tech.
Very much so. Last year was kind of a, hey, we'll see what happens. Maybe it was just a Georgia thing. This year started out very strong, but the last few weeks he's been kind of a not a risk-averse quarterback. I'm going to favor Texas A&M in this game, or
I
Texas
like that.
Tech in this game.
We're all Red Raider riders on that one. Let's go up to the top left corner. Oregon versus Notre Dame, man. This is one of those toss-ups. I don't feel like I know much about Oregon right about now.
Yeah, this is probably that's a tough game to pick right now.
Coin flip it?
Yeah, honestly, that'd be the point that I'm at. I could see both teams winning that game. I think that'd be a hard-fought game.
All right, let's call Oregon the winner.
All right.
All right.
All right, let's go over to the top right. Actually, we got way more Notre Dame fans in the chat, most likely. Let's give them a bone. Give me the Irish. Ole Miss at Texas. This is an interesting SEC clash.
Another
Also,
tough one to pick
These
right
teams
now.
haven't played since Texas has come to the SEC, correct?
No,
No.
they have not.
I don't think they have. This would be an interesting offensive battle between these two minds, Sark and Lane.
Yeah, I think the bigger battle would be Texas's defense versus Ole Miss's offense. That'd be the bigger battle there, and that would be at Ole Miss, by the way. So that would probably give Ole Miss a slight favor in that matchup, like from a betting standpoint. I don't know. I mean, that's another tough game that's really hard to pick right now.
I think I'd take Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Their
I-
offense is a whole lot more consistent than Texas's has been this year.
I would
currently.
take Ole Miss in this because I feel like Vegas would favor Ole Miss simply because it's a home matchup. And I think last year, every single Vegas line, the favored team won. So I'd go
Honestly,
Ole
I
Miss.
think Texas has had 6 good quarters of offense.
Mhm.
The last 6 quarters have been really, really good offensively. We'll see what they look like this weekend.
I would go the last 5. I think that fourth quarter against
correct.
Vanderbilt was kind of iffy.
Well, I thought you were going to go the third quarter of Mississippi State. It was really the last 18 minutes of that football game where they actually had an offensive pulse against
Yeah.
Mississippi State. So it hasn't. It's been like people feel like it's been like this month-long resurgence of Texas football. Really, it's been like 6.5 quarters. It hadn't been a ton. The Oklahoma win was impressive.
Impressive
considering how they did.
But that was also
know?
Hey, John Mateer's giving it up, boys.
It was also, hey, John Mateer's playing left-handed today,
Right.
essentially. All right, so that puts us into the quarters right here between what we said was Georgia versus Alabama there. Y'all know how I feel about that one.
You know the rule by now,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Alabama's already into the semis there. All right, so Ohio State versus Notre Dame right there. We're taking Ohio State.
I think
Take
we
Ohio
would favor
State.
Ohio
All
State.
right, so we picked Ole Miss against Indiana.
This is interesting. because I feel like that has the potential to
By
be
the way, that's in front of 50,000 screaming Hoosiers. Actually, no.
That's neutral.
That's neutral.
Neutral site.
That's neutral.
that has the potential to be the highest scoring playoff game of that series.
Yeah.
I'd probably take Indiana, to be honest.
Here's why I'm going to
Oh,
say
dude, a week of those guys at a microphone? Oh, my God.
Here's why I'm going to say Indiana right now, hypothetically weeks out. I don't think Ole Miss has the pass rush to generate problems for
Fair.
Fernando Mendoza.
Not
because
immediate.
that was the recipe that we saw to kind of cause them issues. Penn State was getting home and getting home quickly. I don't think Ole Miss has the ability to do that.
Yeah, I'd lean Indiana there.
This would be a very interesting quarterfinal football game here between A&M and Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I would take A&M.
What'd be even more interesting is that the top 4 teams get to choose which place they want to play at. So this could be a quarterfinal matchup in the state of Texas at a neutral site matchup between 2 Texas schools.
Hell yeah, that would be sick as hell. I got Ohio State over Bama, and I've got A&M over – who do we pick, Indiana?
Yeah, I picked Indiana.
So I've got Ohio State versus A&M, and I got Ohio State winning.
Yeah, I mean.
Which brings me to my next point. Boys, I take Ohio State. I give you the field. Do you feel good?
So
Because I feel great. I feel great.
I feel good as well, honestly, and I'll tell you why. On paper, it's Ohio State. It makes perfect sense. Ohio State has not strained whatsoever. They have the best quarterback, wide receiver, arguably. You know, you could go down the list. They have some of the best playmakers in college football. It feels way too chalked for that to be the case. And it felt this way kind of with Oregon last year. I feel like the only time where we've seen the team that just walks through the entire season and go all the way hasn't really – it's never happened in the 12-team college football playoff. We thought Oregon was this last year. It was like, hey, Oregon's going to make a deep run. Immediately splattered. So – on paper, yeah, Ohio State, you feel great about that. If I were going to put money on it, I would feel good about putting the field.
It's not just to me that they have the nation's best defense. The takes on Ohio State are so obvious and so easy. They have the best defense in the country. They have a top 5 quarterback. They have the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. Like if Carnell Tate's not number 2 for you, he's a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah, they have the best wide receiver room in college football.
I would argue they have the best linebacking core in college football. I would argue they have the best safety core in college football. Like they are dominant.
They look great.
They look great.
Yeah.
And I think any other analysis would be basically hoping that someone gives them a run right now, or hoping that they are flawed, and we don't know because they haven't quote unquote played anybody. But there are other Big Ten teams that have not quote unquote played anybody, and they got sweaters on the schedules. Mm-hmm. This team does not. That's all I'm saying.
And again,
They remind me a lot of that run of dominance from Alabama and from Georgia, where you just no one touches them for 24 months. It feels like.
yeah, but even those teams had sweaters.
Well, they played in a different conference. Yeah, because we don't know.
And then I think that's where the hang-up is. It's like, obviously Ohio State's the number 1 team in the country. Obviously Ohio State is going to be the odds-on favorite to win this whole damn thing. And it just feels a little bit too easy to say Ohio State's going to win it all. This does not feel like the 2019 LSU team or even the 2020 Alabama team where it's like, oh, these guys are just so damn good. I don't know how you beat them. Look at what they're doing against highly talented teams. Those teams were dicing up top 10, top 15 opponents. Ohio State has beaten the hell out of everyone they put in front of them.
I mean,
Someone want to remind him that LSU in 2019 won by 3 points on the road at Auburn.
yeah, it was a top 25 Auburn team.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was Derek Brown. It was Big Cat Bryant.
That was a top 25 Auburn team.
and like it was week 1, but let's not forget that Texas and Ohio
14-7.
State.
Still a top 10 team nowadays.
Oh, no, but that's my point of, like, we've seen Ohio State against one of these top 12 teams. And, again, I know that it was week 1, but both of those teams had a quarterback that was starting for the first time in week 1. And it was a pretty even matchup. And Texas, we don't even believe, is the best team in the SEC at the moment. So I would take the field in that scenario because there's a whole lot more options. And that's just how college football has been over the last few years, is that like what seems as clear-cut and dry usually isn't as clear-cut and dry as you think it is. But, again, Ohio State is a phenomenal team.
It's also worth noting that if those 2 teams, Ohio State and Texas, were to play again today, no way there's only 21 points scored in that one.
No, yeah, I think both teams would play
Both
better in
those
that
teams are gonna
matchup.
play better.
You
Yeah.
think so? Yeah.
We good on playoff rankings.
I'd think
Have
so.
we have we squeezed that one for all of its juice? I think we have. All right. What shall we do next? Do y'all want to do best bets? Do you want to do buy, sell, and hold? What do you want to do?
Let's buy, sell, and hold some.
Well, yeah, we
teams.
could continue the playoff discussion.
Are you buying BYU? I am not.
I'm gonna sell.
I'm selling all second spot Big 12 teams. Just get out of here. I'm good. Too many other good teams in these top conferences. I'm selling Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I'll sell that one as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell Vanderbilt.
I'm buying them at 10-2 though. If who do they got left? Tennessee.
Tennessee's
Here's-
one of
They
them.
got Tennessee on the road too, right?
Here's a funky discussion, though.
Yeah, they played at Vandy last year because
Correct.
Dante Thornton went off.
Here's a
Correct.
funky discussion, though. Let's say Vanderbilt wins out. They beat Tennessee. They go 10-2. Let's say Texas loses to Georgia this week and they're 9-3. Texas is 9-3, has the head-to-head against Vanderbilt. There might even be an argument to where Texas is more deserving of that playoff spot than Vanderbilt.
And by the way, if that's the assumption, Texas beats Texas A&M, which would be a top 5 win, which is something Vanderbilt wouldn't have. I think that the problem is with Vanderbilt right now, their resume isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to keep
LSU
them.
sucking is killing them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Any other year, Vandy beats LSU.
And Missouri's teetering off at the
Yeah,
moment.
Missouri. But they beat 3/4 of starting Missouri.
Yeah.
So that's
No,
fair.
I'm with you.
Actually, they weren't winning that game when he went out, was he?
No, that was
Missouri's about to score.
yeah, then they got the turnover and they capitalized off of it.
Yeah, Vanderbilt has played, to their credit, they've played 5 ranked teams. They've played 4 top 15 teams. They beat the hell out of South Carolina. That win doesn't look very good right now. They lost to Alabama by 16 points. That was a top 10 team. They beat number 10 LSU. Again, Brian Kelly's gotten fired since then. Missouri, that's their best win right now. And other than that, there's nothing really to hang their hat on.
That's when
So-
big media bias gets involved.
Yeah.
That logo, whole lot more than. Do we have a doors hands in?
Just Diego Pavia. There you go.
Two-time.
Anchor down, baby.
Yeah, door down.
So I'm going to sell Vanderbilt, getting
that's
back
fair.
to our original segment.
Georgia Tech. I'm buying them currently.
I'll
to win
buy
the
him right
ACC.
now because I don't know who the heck's going to win that conference.
See, I thought I was going to be kind of trendy and picking by Georgia Tech here, but there's the avenue for them making the college football playoff.
I feel way better about Georgia Tech making a playoff than any other ACC team right now.
I don't think it's crazy to say Georgia Tech's not going to lose another conference game.
No.
Selling Utah for the same exact reason I sold BYU.
Yeah.
Selling Miami. Sneaky take. I think Miami's got another one in them somewhere. I
Yeah,
don't even
the
know who
fact
they
that
play, but
Miami's two losses-
They're almost liable every week.
The fact that Miami's 2 losses as well came in the conference, like that also puts them in a particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
USC, I'm selling because I'm buying Oregon at the moment. Is that fair?
I'd hold probably. Like I'd hold out on that one. I'd like to see how that USC Oregon
You're
game
just
plays
holding
out.
on both of them. You got to hold on Oregon.
No,
and hold
I'll
on.
buy Oregon, but I would still like to see.
You can't buy Oregon.
Why not?
Without selling USC.
Why not? I
'Cause they
haven't
play-
seen them play one another.
Because they play head to head.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I'm holding out until USC plays Oregon.
I
So
understand.
you're holding both stocks then.
No, I'm buying what Oregon looks like right now. I'm going to hold USC because they have to beat Oregon at the moment to get into this conversation.
You're giving me an aneurysm.
He's making sense. Don't worry.
Okay.
He's making sense.
Good to know.
Oregon right now inside of the top 10. I'm buying that right now for them to make the playoff. I mean,
Hell yeah.
they picked up a win against Iowa. There's an avenue too where like even if they lost to USC, if they've like lost it close, there's a potential where they still even remain inside the top 12.
Wow.
Potentially, I don't know. I mean, that's just speaking like from what could potentially happen. I'm not saying that will happen.
I'm selling Michigan.
Yeah, so Michigan.
I think the only interesting talking point left with Michigan is if they lose to Ohio State, does Dave Portnoy call for Sherrone Moore's hit? That's all we got left.
He did kind of float that one out there earlier in the year.
Floated it. He put it out
Yeah,
there.
dude. Dave Portnoy has. I don't like that situation at Michigan, but
I mean, what do you do, man?
You can't.
You gonna say no thank you to
you're
$12
gonna
million?
bite, you're gonna bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, you can't.
The hand that force fed you a 5-star
The
quarterback.
craziest part about that is that the Oracle guy was just like, yeah, let's get on a Zoom call with Dave Portnoy. Anyways, yeah, he fires. He calls for that guy's head, especially if it's ugly, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like a 38-10 shellacking, Ohio
Yeah.
State runs it down their throat. it's going to be this guy's not the guy. He's got to go, yada, yada, yada. So there's that. Who we got left? Oklahoma. I unfortunately have to sell.
Yeah.
So it's a sell. For that reason, I think the value on it is high enough for a buy. Because let's hypothetically say that if Oklahoma beats Alabama on Saturday, which is in the realm of possibility, their schedule has shaken out perfectly for them. Because the death roll that they had to go through to close out the season just got a whole lot easier. Because Missouri, down to their third-string quarterback, seems like they're kind of flailing right now. LSU, we know what that is. That's 2 top 25 teams that are no longer going to be ranked inside the top 25 when you play them. If you can get past Bama and if you can win that game, you have a top 5 win on your resume and 2 quality SEC wins left.
Again, I'm of the belief that if you get out of the SEC 10-2, you should be a lock for a college football playoff. Now, the Vandy thing's making me feel real weird about this.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do.
That could be potentially another 10-2 team you're matching
How
up
about-
against Vanderbilt.
I think if they beat Tennessee on the road, I think highly of Tennessee personally.
Can we add a caveat to this maybe?
But I don't know if they get that done.
Can we add
based off the way their offense can't score enough.
Let's add something to this rule to make it a much easier one to follow. A 10-2 SEC team that has a win over a top 15 team is a lock. Vanderbilt doesn't have that right now
That's fair.
because South Carolina, kaput.
But that's not fair. I don't believe that to be fair because I'm a in the moment guy. It matters. Like they did beat it was a top 20 LSU team. Or
LSU was 10 when they beat them.
See, I'm a win you beat them guy. I think that like with regards to resume. Now we can look back and go context matters. We can do that.
I think for this
but in terms of keynote wins, you can't just take a top 10 win away from LSU or Vandy because LSU sucked the last month. That's not fair.
Right, but I mean, I don't know that that's how the committee would look at it.
It's unfortunate. I don't know if it's not fair because beat the teams that are good throughout the season. Like Alabama's win against Georgia looks great. Georgia's win against Ole Miss looks great because those teams have maintained in the top 25. If your only wins are against the teams that sucked, I think that they just showed their true colors to you at the end.
Well, let's flip this on its head. How absolutely atrocious does that FSU loss look for Alabama?
It looks
for
really,
sure.
really bad.
I don't see any. They're not getting dinged for this.
But they've also
'Cause there's nothing left to ding them, I guess.
they went 4 straight weeks proving.
You're right.
Because here's the problem. If things go differently in Columbia, that Florida State loss is immediately held up against them once again. Because, you did this against Florida State, and now you've done it against South Carolina, 2 unranked teams. So we're like, this Florida State loss is null and void right now because they've handled all of their business against active top 25 teams. They've beaten Georgia, they've beaten Vanderbilt, they've beaten, all these other programs. That's what's holding it up right now. It will immediately get used against them if they lose to an unranked team.
Good on Basoho.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me them gloves.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Give me them gloves. While I'm putting these gloves on, Christian, will you do me a favor and give a sweet shout out to those fine folks of ours over at Sleeper?
I will do that for you, Brooks. You want me
Sleeper's the #1 gaming app.
It is the #1 fantasy
Number
gaming
one
app.
fantasy
It's
and
focused
gaming
on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Has over 6 million active users as of 2023, which has only gone up. Now, it is operational in more than 25 United States, including the great state of Georgia. So head over there today to get a 100% deposit match up to $100 using promo code Brooks. That means if you put in $100, you get an extra $100 free. Why would you say no to that? Sleeper.com, thank you very much.
It's a great question. Why would you ever say no?
If you found
to such an offer?
If you found $100 on the ground, would you not pick it up?
You'd pick it right up. You know what I think is hilarious?
What's that?
The idea that there is a high chance that there is somebody watching us tonight for the very first time, looking at that board going, why in the hell would I ever trust this goofy named Brooks, who apparently looks like something now that I've lost a lot of weight? Have you noticed that? I don't get, hey, fathead anymore. I get a lot of people thinking I look like a lesbian. Watching this show going, why in the hell would I ever listen to this guy's takes? He is 23-36 against the spread. Au contraire, since week 2, I've been trying to lose. And I've successfully done so to the tune of 13 under 500. So if you've been fading me since week 1, you're 13 games up this year. How about them apples? Give me the slate, Jay Will.
All right, we'll start it off strong right here. South Carolina at Texas A&M. The Aggies minus 18.5.
Whoa!
18.5.
That's the biggest spread in the SEC in a month and a half?
No, Georgia was a 20-point-something favorite over Kentucky.
Oh. But that was a month ago.
Oh, you said month.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah.
It's the biggest spread in like 4 weeks in this
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah.
That is too big for me to not.
18.5 is a lot.
Here's the deal.
I'm willing to risk being wrong about 18.5 points. That's a lot in this conference.
It is a lot in this conference, but that is a porous offensive line.
Oh, yes, it
And
is.
this is some of the best blitz period and blitz pickup or blitz package, rather, you will ever see from an
Indeed.
SEC football team from A&M. And this is some of the worst blitz pickup, I don't know what to do with my hands, you will ever see from an SEC football team in the South Carolina Gamecocks. They are poo-poo. I think A&M wins this game 31-10 for that reason. Give me the Cocks!
It's become a regular occurrence, him begging for that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start not
Requesting
having
it.
South Carolina on the best bet segment, I think.
Negative. No. Nay says I.
Did you see where Shane Beamer had the nerve where he said that he feels like he's gotten his offensive coordinating hires right?
What?
Yeah.
He said he's felt like he's
Who
hit on
holiday
all of
hoobity
them.
whatty?
Yeah. Satterfield hit. Now Loggins, that one would be a hit in my opinion.
He said Satterfield was a hit.
Yeah, well, and then he
Did
also
he name them by name, or did he was just like, I think I'm good at it?
He
I'll give
mentioned,
you the
by the way,
quote.
Satterfield didn't get fired.
Yeah, he said, I didn't even fire Satterfield, by the way.
Yeah, he left for Nebraska and then got fired. Mm-hmm. It was more like a.
This
yeah,
is a quote.
You can leave.
I push back on the narrative that I haven't gotten these coordinator hires right. Said Marcus Satterfield was a college guy and won 7 games in 2023 and hung 63 points on Tennessee. Also, Satterfield didn't get fired. However, Shula, that's a miss, Beamer. I'm sorry. That is a clear
How did
miss
he
right
define
there.
that? Or how I'd defend that?
I didn't get I don't know. I probably didn't get the whole quote. That
Hey,
was
you
the
know what?
tweet I saw.
Rule of thumb. If you hire an offensive coordinator who hasn't called plays since 2016 and never in the college football ranks, he might be bad.
Yeah. As far as this one goes, I'm going to lean the 18.5 in favor of Texas A&M because South Carolina, like one of the worst offensive lines in the SEC, probably the worst offensive line in the SEC, Texas A&M, probably going to demolish that and take advantage of that. So I think that there's a better avenue for Texas A&M to blow out South Carolina than it is for South Carolina to keep it close, even within 18.5 points.
They're going to be chanting Marcel Reed's name for 4 quarters.
Good luck with that.
Marcel Reed, a Heisman-worthy season so far?
You know, I haven't looked at the statistics for it, but I think he's played very well.
I think he's worthy of being in the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you're getting your statistics from.
What do you think, Kirby? You going to take that? You already said
Oh,
that.
yeah, I gotta go with South Carolina. The 18.5 points in a conference matchup, based on what we've seen this year, I know South Carolina is an awful offense. I know that Lenore Sellers is going to be running for his life. I know that this game is going to be played in Kyle Field. 18.5 points is still a lot.
All right. We'll move on to the next one. The site of college game day this weekend, Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. The Fighting Irish, minus 11.5. Chopping wood over there.
Just keep chopping, Jonathan. What was the game you're talking about now?
That would be Notre Dame at Pitt. Fighting Irish, minus 11.5.
Ooh, I like the Irish big in this foosball game. That does not matter to Pittsburgh. A coach comes out and says we can lose 110. He's setting up for 38-10 loss. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. This game matters a whole lot to Notre Dame.
Give me the Thurs. I don't believe it. I'm fading myself. I'm pretty damn good at it. 23-36, fading myself this year. Give them to me.
Yeah, I'm going to take Notre Dame minus 11.5 in this matchup.
Easy money.
Considering how
Put
bad
the mortgage on it.
Considering how bad Pittsburgh has been against the pass, I believe they rank 97th in the country when it comes to pass defense. C.J. Carr and that passing offense has only continued to get better throughout the year. And I know what Pittsburgh has been against the run defensively. They're one of the top 6, the top 10. I know that for a fact. But, I mean, it's Jeremiah Love, for goodness, and Jadarian Price. Those are 2 really good running backs. And we've said it, like, they really haven't played these high-caliber opponents like Notre Dame. I'm comfortable with taking Notre Dame minus 11.5.
We are gearing up for some chaos this weekend. I don't think that I'm willing to put enough money that Pitt's going to cover an 11.5 point spread against Notre Dame team, a team that cannot afford a loss like this, cannot even really afford a bad matchup. Give me Notre Dame.
All right, we'll move on to our third game. A very big SEC matchup this weekend. We got Oklahoma at Bama. Bama minus 6.5.
Tough matchup. Tough game to pick, honestly.
It is.
I don't think Bama's clean enough right now to think they're going to win by a full touchdown. Is that fair?
Oh, I agree.
Like, they're great right now winning 29-24. They're great winning games in the margins, winning tight ball games. I think this is a one-score football game. I think Alabama wins it. I don't even know how to fade myself in this one. Give me Alabama.
I'm going to take Oklahoma plus 6.5 in this one. I'm with you in the same boat. I think it's going to be a one-score game, maybe a 4-point win, 3-point win for whichever team that comes out on top. So I'm going to take Oklahoma plus 6.5.
I think if Alabama does win this game, it's going to be like a 14-point shellacking. That said, if not, I think Oklahoma has a very, very good chance to not only win this game, but keep it extremely close. I'll go Oklahoma plus the 6.5.
It's going to be a game that is the definition of sputter and spit. These offenses, when they score, it's going to be because they got a 50-yard explosive. There ain't nobody going 12 plays, 7 yards a pop down the field. Nobody. It's going to be explosive laden.
All right, our fourth game on the slate, we got Iowa at USC. The Trojans are favored by 6.5.
I think the Trojans win this game like 31-17. So give me the Hawkeyes.
I do feel like USC could win this one by a touchdown. I know that Oregon had a really close matchup against Iowa, but that was at Iowa. The weather conditions played perfectly into Iowa's hand. At this point, this one's at USC. And while they don't have one of the best home field advantages in college football, still got to travel for Iowa, not playing at your home stadium. USC, one of the more explosive offenses. Mekhi Lemon has been great. Mayava has been great as well. Defensively, they're good enough to defend this Iowa offense. I'll take USC minus 6.5.
Yeah, I think another thing that's not getting taken into account as much, and there's really not a metric to do so. Iowa had their hearts ripped out last week. Like, what do you mean,
You're on the verge of upsetting a top 10 team.
You're telling me if you sat through 3.5 hours in the pouring rain to lose like that, you wouldn't be a little
Kirby,
disappointed?
you know I don't have any of this in me. There's none of this in me. It's just football to me. I don't have any of this. I'm sorry. I wish I did.
What do you mean?
I don't have any of this attachment to wins and losses. It just isn't there for me. You saw this firsthand.
But you can acknowledge.
You can
Oh,
acknowledge.
no, I can sympathize.
you
I
can
cannot empathize.
you can
Is that
acknowledge-
correct? Did I use that right? Holy shit, did I use words right? I can sympathize. I can go, dang, that sucks. I cannot empathize with those people.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I understand, like, Iowa just had a really bad
That would
loss.
suck.
I
Yeah.
think that I'm going to take USC in this regard.
All right, the final one. This one a little
Oh.
interesting in my opinion. Yeah,
put
we're
those-
not done.
put
Put
those
those
back
gloves
on.
back on.
My bad.
You enjoy losing so much. Keep the gloves on.
Big loser, this guy.
Arkansas at LSU. LSU minus 5.5.
Why you put this on my pick'ems? What you doing?
Because I thought this
Why
was
you put
interesting.
this poop on the list?
I think this is an interesting game.
For what reason?
The LSU's favored by my 5.5.
Is Van Buren playing?
Heck, if I
Who's
know.
playing quarterback?
It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback.
Boycott LSU. Give me the hog.
Oh, I'll gladly take Arkansas plus 5.5 in this one. LSU. We're expecting LSU's offense to keep up with Arkansas's offense.
Give me the hog.
I know that Arkansas's defense, on the other hand, gives up points just as easily, but man, Arkansas has proven against anybody in this conference they'll put up points.
I'll take Arkansas as well. So I feel very worried that we're all agreeing with Brooks here, but
I don't know. I mean, look, LSU, considering where they're at in the season, Arkansas has continued to fight every single weekend, despite the fact that Sam Pittman is no longer their head coach. They're not playing for anything at all. LSU just continues to spiral. Arkansas is like, well, we're at least going to have fun hanging 45 points today.
I do think
Playing for Bobby P.
I do think Michael Van Buren needs to start this game.
Don't you put that evil on me. I hope you have sons. Beautiful, articulate sons. And they have their starting quarterback position taken from them. I hope you know this pain. I hope you know we have a whole nother hour of tremendous content coming up right after this break.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog?
What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Let's shut up and let's grind. So they're going to get after your ass inside this box, and that's exactly what happens. Great job finishing on the rock, too. Great job finishing on the rock. Okay, here's the deal. We got 1 big guy, 2 big guy, 3 guy, 4 big guy. All right, so we know we're taking those 4. Right now, go through his face. And look how tight we are right here. Not only do we plug 1, we plug 2. Here he comes. Bam. My face almost got stuck like that.
The Rock catching us straight.
I mean, catching us straight. Here's what I am just absolutely hysterically laughing at in my own head is the dichotomy of the first 50 minutes of tonight's broadcast. Just walking across this place in your algorithm and be like, you know what? Man, these guys are really humming. These guys are really getting after it with serious ball talk. I mean, good God, I just watched this guy on Paul Feinbaum deliver the most hot 12 minutes of football I've ever seen. And then the last 10 minutes of this show, you get smacked with ditties, and there's an idiot wearing gloves saying, give me the hog and cocks. What is going on right now?
Welcome to the show.
It's called entertainment.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You get a little bit of everything around here.
Hey, good job finishing on the rock, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to the local hour. We got a great show for you guys tonight. We got college football playoff rankings reactions. We're going to talk about that Paul Feinbaum hit in a little bit, but we really have a great show planned for you guys tonight with regards to a preview for this Georgia and Texas showdown. Going to be a top 10 matchup between number 5, Georgia, and number 10, the Texas Longhorns. But let's start with our college football playoff rankings reaction, guys. Any thoughts? I feel like Georgia's just continued to handle business and everything's all right, and it just is what it is. You know?
Yeah, you're definitely
I think you even have room for,
You do.
You got insurance here.
Mm-hmm.
You
don't want to have
you
to.
don't want to call.
You don't want to have
it,
to rely on it because honestly, and here's what I'll say: don't make it the Texas game where you have insurance because you do not need to be sweating the Georgia Tech game. Because imagine if Texas A&M doesn't fumble the bag last year, and you had to beat Georgia Tech in that 8 overtime.
Here's
game.
the only thing I'll say about that: a loss to number 10 Texas puts you at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Puts you at 9, you feel good. A loss to 17th ranked Georgia Tech.
With the wins that you have.
I know, but you're going to feel a little bit different. You're going to feel a little bit more nervous about the idea that you might end up 10 and getting bumped out. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, 10
or
and
11 and bumped out.
10-2 is 10-2 for Georgia here.
I feel the same way. I'm with you. I'm just saying there are going to be some other people. There's going to be some non-SEC people that are like, they lost to Georgia Tech. Get the hell out of here.
Oh, sure.
Now, I will say, the way you've beaten teams this year does not bode well for you. The fact that you've had sweaters against Florida and Auburn and other teams where it's like, that's not a great win. That should make you worried. But if you are 10-2 at the end of the season, you are in the college football playoff. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you are 10-3 and you made the SEC championship and lost, you are still in the college football playoff.
I think we have moved to the point now in this conference where if you get to SEC championship game, you are a playoff team.
Yes.
The bigger question I think for Georgia is let's say you do win out. Let's say you beat Texas this weekend, so you pick up a win against a ranked Texas team. And let's say you beat Georgia Tech, who is, I don't know, by the time they play Georgia, let's say that they're 15 or 14, whatever it is. That's 2 more ranked wins that you've picked up. And let's even go a little further. Let's say that you beat Texas by 10 and you beat Georgia Tech by 17. So you picked up 2 more convincing wins on the schedule. And let's say that the top 4 teams win out, though. Do you just continue to stay put at number 5?
Well, here's why I would say no.
Alabama and A&M playing the SEC championship game in that scenario.
And that's why that discussion got interesting earlier, because if you're Georgia, is there even a possibility for you to jump in, or are they going to say, these are the top 4 teams, regardless of what happens in conference championships, they're getting their bye?
And that's
Honestly,
why I think it matters.
I think that's ideal. You like all you're fighting for with regards to top 4 positioning is a bye week.
Yeah, a bye week. That's it.
Well, here's
But
the thing.
if you don't play in the SEC championship, you got
get-
your bye.
You get 2 bye weeks. Because here's a hypothetical. You don't have to play in the SEC championship. There's
This
one.
is the preferred.
There's one
Win
built-in
out
bye week.
and still don't play in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're a 5th ranked seed. You don't have to play on SEC championship weekend.
You get a home
Gunner
playoff
goes to
game.
New York, gets 3rd in the Heisman, and then you get a home game in the first round of the playoffs.
Against
And you beat the
No.
shit out of South Florida.
No. That's not the ideal situation. The ideal situation is this. You don't go to the SEC championship. All those things happen, and then either Texas A&M or Alabama, one of them beats the shit out of the other team to where the committee goes, we can't really rank this team in the top 4. Give Georgia the top 4 spot, and you get 2 bye weeks.
Nah, give me the home game.
the home game would be.
Give me the home game against the tomato can.
The home game would be
Give me that one.
the home game would be sweet. But could you imagine getting that extra rest before you go into a college football
Could you
playoff
imagine
run?
getting a playoff game against James Madison at home? Come on, dog.
That's called stat padding right there.
Hell yeah.
It would
That's
be
called
great.
running up at home. That's called Puglisi gets playoff time. No offense to James Madison, but come on, dude.
Yeah. But
That
I
group
mean,
of 5 teams
really,
get
but
titted on.
other than that, though, in all seriousness, there's really not a whole lot to talk about Georgia's ranking because you're in a good spot. You're in control right now. Just got to win games and continue to do what you've been doing, and you'll be all right. And if you win out, worst case scenario, you're number 5. Best case scenario, maybe you're number 4.
It's a great point. I mean, last year it worked into your favor, the idea that you had all that extra time because you were working in a new starting quarterback. But this idea of downtime.
It didn't work into your favor.
I know, but I'm saying it gave Gunner opportunity to prepare.
Right.
And that's a good thing. But, yeah, you came out flat. You did not execute.
Well, not even that. You
And
don't
Notre Dame had
have
a chance
you
to get
don't
hot.
you don't have to prepare for a new quarterback if you don't play in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
That's where
Well, I was more getting to the point of worrying about being flat when you take a month off.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking
there
about.
is
There's
that.
a big theory to that those first-round teams like Oregon last year that sat at home for a month, got real cold, had 15 bowl practices, and then you get a hotter than firecracker Ohio State team after they just beat the shit out of Tennessee at home.
I mean, every team that had a bye last year lost.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is something to be said about a team getting into that playoff mindset before you and then you having to play them. Like, they're already in that rhythm of, all right, we got the first round under our belt. Now we move on to the next one. Like, you kind of already have this system in place. So I understand that, but if you can't get up for a playoff game, then you don't deserve to win it anyways.
Agreed.
I also think because of the straight seeding, apart from the G5 team, there's less of this positioning yourself. There's less of this, apart from like maybe wanting to avoid Ohio State as a fan. But I felt like last year you kind of wanted one side or the other bracket, or because of the top 4 seeds going to conference champs, there were unfavorable, slots. Like, for example, Penn State not playing or losing the Big Ten championship and then getting, I think, Boise and then Notre Dame, whereas Oregon would have had to beaten Ohio State and then Texas. That's not fair.
All right.
You know what I mean? Now we have the straight seeding. There's less of this, oh, I'm on this side, so it's favorable, or, oh, the 5 spot. Like last year, the 5 spot looked more ideal than the 1 or 2 spot. It felt like for some of those draws. So we won't have as much of that this year, and that's good.
Right.
What other tweaks do you think there could be with the playoffs? Do you think we need to get rid of any of this automatic conference championship stuff? Should we just
I'm
go
fine
straight
with it
12?
for now.
It feels participation-y with the group of 5.
Yeah, it does.
Get the group of 5 out. I'm sorry. Let the group. Don't make a built-in scenario to where the group of 5 has to get one. If you're a top 12 team,
Make them earn it.
you earn it.
Yeah.
Cincinnati would have earned it in 2020. Cincinnati would have earned it in 2021.
Now,
Those were playoff teams.
Here's my only pushback to that. Do some of these group of 5 team or Power 5 teams avoid some of these teams in non-con games? Like, I would imagine it's hard for James Madison to get Oklahoma State to schedule them,
Sure.
or to get Kansas State to schedule them, right? Like North Dakota State went through this for a long time, where they couldn't get any more of these games because they kept beating these teams.
Yeah.
So they started to avoid them. I think that could be part of the reason why you can't basically play who other than Boise last year, which Boise played Oregon tight. If Dan has that to do all over again, does he reschedule Boise, or does he just play his 9 conference games?
Dan Lanning probably does.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody else does.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's hard enough.
Here's what Cincinnati did in 2021 to get to the college football playoff. They were a top 4 team, by the way.
Yeah.
They beat number 9 Notre Dame on the road, and they beat Houston in a conference championship that was at the time ranked 21st. That's all it took for them. It didn't
A
take
top 10 win in an undefeated season.
Yeah.
That's all. That's a great year for
It's a fantastic
a
year.
non-P4.
It's a fantastic year, but the undefeated season was also Miami of Ohio, Murray State, Indiana when they were not Kurt Cignetti's Indiana, Temple, Navy, Tulsa. Like,
Oh, they did count that Indiana on the resume as a P4 win.
yeah, like
Remember that?
they played some very, very bad teams. On the contrary, again, that was a top 4 team. That team got ranked inside the top 4. If you had 11-1 with this schedule, there's a really solid argument you have for being inside the top 25 or being inside the top 12. USF was inside the top 10 for the first 2 months of the season because they had a really good win over Florida and they had a pretty decent loss against Miami. So it's possible, I think. I thought
they dropped out of the top 10 after they got their doors blown off by Miami.
They might have.
They did. Yeah.
But they were a top 10 team for a while.
They were in
Correct.
a position.
And again,
to
Correct.
just-
With one loss, they were a top 10 team.
And by the way, don't get your doors blown off by Miami.
Yeah.
Lose that game by 3 points and you're a playoff team. So stuff like that, I think there is always, in my opinion, paths for the group of 5 to get in. We do not have to manufacture one because a lot of the times it gets we get to play James Madison in the college football playoff. And I think that is a disservice to this system.
Especially when I think it's the stupidest thing in the world when a college football playoff committee goes, we think these are the 12 best teams. But number 11 and 12,
Get out of here.
get out of here for fairness,
Sorry.
for inclusion, for DEI. Like, I don't think that's what it should be. You know what I mean? I don't think it should just be, because we have to. No. We all agree these are the 12 best teams. Those teams should decide who the ultimate best team is.
Wholeheartedly agree. Now, my question to that is, should we not, if that's the case, not just get rid of auto bids altogether, including Power 4? Because I think we can all look around and say confidently there's no team in the ACC right now that deserves to be anywhere near the top 12.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hairy grounds, though.
It is, and I think that's the issue that
Hairy
you have.
grounds. At that point, just Super League it. Big Ten SEC.
And that's where I think you're kind of heading, unfortunately.
All right, let's get into our local hour. Boys, we absolutely smashed that Paul Feinbaum hit today.
It was a good
I mean,
one.
that's as clean as it's been. We were off book today.
Wow.
We've been off book all
Off book
day.
on live television, huh?
We've been off book all day. We ain't touched a note. We will a little bit later with our Texas preview. I got a lot of notes on who they are as a football team and how to prepare for them. But, yeah, we've just been out here crushing off book today. Went about 15 plays in about 10 minutes up there against Georgia and Mississippi State on the Feinbaum show. You weren't in here when we filmed the offensive film study, were you, Jonathan?
I was here for offense.
You were. All right. What were your immediate takeaways from that Mississippi State domination offensively for Georgia?
I mean, that was just to put it in one big line. It would be that's just the definition of wearing your opponent down. That's what it felt like. Georgia was just Mississippi State's defense was taking hit after hit after hit, and Georgia's offense just kept pushing forward, and they didn't slow down and they didn't stop.
I think what made that so impressive, and you didn't realize it watching it in real time because it's hard to tell, but going back and watching the film, Georgia kept that game plan so incredibly simple
Yeah.
to where it was kind of, we're just going to strong arm you to a win.
Yeah.
And it felt very much reminiscent of what you would see in those 2021 and 2022 teams where it was, hey, we don't really need to do a lot to make things happen. We're just going to lean on you. We're just going to bully you, and eventually you're going to break. They broke within the second quarter.
The entire game plan was we're going to make these small guys shed blocks from big guys and then tackle. And they couldn't do it for 300 yards worth of yardage. So that was really, really impressive. I thought the idea of you, and we talked about this the other night, the idea that you're hunting an explosive off of a fake screen pass without throwing a screen pass is kind of like, wow, that's where we're at now. Zachariah Branch is so, creating such fear in defenses that he doesn't have to even get a touch before somebody is open because they're worried about him. That's pretty impressive. Offensive line depth continues to show up every time we go look at these, films and stuff like that. And I do think they're somewhat peaking offensively right about now, or at least constantly improving. I mean, even the kind of utilization of Elias Williams seems like a new kind of thing that they're about to get into offensively. Like, that kid put some insanely promising tape on.
And I think, too, like, I think it kind of got put under everything else because of how great the run game was. But there were multiple throws by Gunnar Stockton of, like, those were the throws that earlier in the season we were saying you have to make those. Like, the throw to Oscar Delp, I know it's one-on-one, but that's a competitive ball where maybe it doesn't look exactly open, but we threw it open. There's a layered ball that he throws, I think it was to Zachariah Branch over there on the sideline over underneath the defender. Another one to Zachariah where he squats in between 3 defenders, and Gunnar Stockton puts it right on him. I mean, there's just several throws. It's like, okay, Gunnar, like, everything is flowing for you right now.
And
I don't know if
think,
y'all know. Sorry to cut you off.
You're good, go ahead.
I don't know if y'all noticed, but I slipped in a Zachariah.
Yeah, I did
on
notice that
Fine
one.
Ball. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But
Shouts to the chat there. Big dubs in the chat.
Going back to what you said about Gunnar, I think that there's another aspect of his game that's gone so underrated this year. His ability to put deep balls in competitive windows to where there is at least a wide receiver's chance to catch it. There were a handful of deep balls last year. We don't need to bash Carson.
Oversprayed.
Where it was, he's got to at least have a shot at that. Now, not every deep ball, every 50-50 ball over 20 yards is going to be caught. We understand that. It feels more so than ever that Gunnar Stockton puts in a position to where at least you say, you know what, DB just made a good play or that one was just barely out of reach. It's completable, and I think that has been the biggest aspect and the biggest change to Georgia's offense that's been worthy.
I felt like we had saw a lot of those types of misses that he had last week to Landon Roldan. That was a miss. He overthrew that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
By a half of a yard.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that last year. A lot of that. And by the way, that guy that we're talking about that had a lot of those last year, he ain't had so many of them this year.
No.
He's been really, really good
Yeah.
downfield. He's just turning it over way too much down there at Miami.
Yep.
And the other added aspect of last year was if it does get to the destination on target, you don't know if it's going to get caught. And I think that's kind of what was the crux of last year. So both of those things have gotten fixed tremendously, and it's showing in the offense. They can take deep shots. Now they feel comfortable doing so.
Any other thoughts on that offensive? Oh, Monroe Freeling. Criminally underrated.
I think he's
underrated
properly
right now.
rated.
I think he's – I see what you're doing.
Yeah,
Properly
he's
rated.
properly
Are we
rated.
starting that campaign?
I don't know if I want to because I don't want to get too far. There was like, these guys bashing Monroe Freeling?
Well, no, we'll find out who knows the show and who doesn't know the show.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah.
It's dangerous, though.
There's
It's very clippable.
the problem is we get enough newcomers weekly that they're going, wait, these guys think Monroe Freeling sucks?
Yeah.
Outta
No,
here.
we don't. Or do
We just want him to not have a very high draft grade, so he has an incentive to come back.
Do you think Paul has any idea what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like when you break down film?
Yeah. When I'm up there doing my thing, you
Yeah,
think
no, I
Paul's
mean-
like locked in, knows what's happening?
Probably.
Or do you think he's just like, sweet, the fat head's going to take the ball for 10?
I think that there's probably more of an aspect of, and I'm not going to assume that Paul's what he does when he's not on camera, but he's probably like, hey, I have a 3-hour talk show where I talk to people in South Georgia all day. Here's an opportunity to where someone else can take the reins of the show for a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably rather refreshing for him.
I would imagine.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, this is legitimate analysis on football right now.
He doesn't have to answer any questions. He doesn't have to deal with any dumb takes. It's just let this guy go up and show he knows ball.
It's also the only time he does let somebody ISO other than Frank from South Georgia. And Frank from South Georgia is going on some 90-second diatribe about how Bobo runs the ball up the middle. So other than that, it's normally a lot of having a guest on, question, answer. Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time. That's the only time he really kind of lets somebody, here's a 10-minute block, go do your thing. So I'm extremely thankful and grateful. And by the way, he is locked in. You can hear him in my earpiece the whole entire time.
Oh, yeah, I hear him.
You hear him as well because
Yeah.
you have the other earpiece.
You hear every now and then he'll do like a soft like, oh.
Yeah, you hear him. He's
Dude,
locked
it's so weird when I'm watching Brooks do that and you just hear, oh, it's like, who the hell said that?
in. Yeah, he's got Kirby's got the Bluetooth in his ear.
Ah,
It's very disorienting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I can never tell what my volume rate is.
Right.
Because I'm one of my ears is plugged. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's also nerve-wracking. I pace this entire house for 2 hours before it every time, just because I don't know what's going to go wrong.
that just means you care.
I accidentally swiped the screen today. I don't know if you saw that.
Uh-oh.
Oops. Uh-oh. And then went right back
Classic.
Yeah, It happens on regular.
Classic fat-fingered film guy. Although the most impressive thing I've ever done on this network is when I blind looked at a nickel and marked the nickel pressure while looking at the camera. I'm so nerdy about my craft. I thought that was so damn cool to be looking at a camera, click the player that you're supposed to, and swipe up. Also, what people don't know about my iPad, there's a latency where your finger is actually like a centimeter below where you're actually at. I was dialed that day. I had some type of tism going on in the middle of that, dude. I don't know what was going on. Got a great show here in the local hour for you guys. We've already done enough gloviating about ourselves. Let's gloviate about this here football game. The Texas Longhorns come over to Athens for a 7:30 kick inside of Sanford Stadium to take on the Dogs. The number 10 ranked Longhorns, the number 5 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. I've got a lot here for you, boys. I've got a lot of notes about who Texas is as a football team. Let's start with what I know. Now, obviously, we will have a football film breakdown for you guys. Football film breakdown. We have a film breakdown for you guys with regards to what to expect. We'll look at this offense and this defense from Texas. Really, this Texas defense. We've looked a lot at Arch Manning and that passing offense and what they've done over the last 6 quarters, but we'll really pay attention to that defense soon. But let's start with the offense and what you need to know. When you go to prepare for Texas, I think first and foremost, obviously stop the run, but more importantly, right now, you got to tackle the flats. You have got to tackle the receivers out in space. The last 2 football games for them, they have started both football games with a 60-plus yard explosive on the same exact play. Orbit motion, Ryan Wingo, throw it to him, 2 receivers over there, blocking 2 DBs. Ryan Wingo versus a safety or versus a linebacker on an angle, absolute to the door. Took one to the door versus Vandy, 80 yards to start the football game, I think 75, and then 60 yards against Mississippi State to start that ball game. You have got to tackle the flats. They cannot have explosives that were thrown behind the line of scrimmage. That's unacceptable in this football game as a defense, all right? They've been bailed out, in my opinion, by explosives in the screens the last 3 games.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like if Georgia gives up explosives on the defensive end this year,
deep.
It's not necessarily because they've missed a tackle. Now, there was one against Ole Miss on that first drive of the third quarter. But
you just described Georgia defense for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
They're the best tackle and shed football team in the flats that there is.
If you're going to get them,
they practice it harder than everybody else, too.
If you're going to get them, it's because they had a bust in the back end.
And by the way, Texas is pretty damn good at that. Ryan Wingo's got great post runner, and they got deep play action with DeAndre Moore on deep overs. Like, they do some of the stuff that you've struggled with. Lord knows Florida hits you with 140 yards or the deep overs to start the football game. That's something you got to pay attention to. But no, I thought that they screened and flatted Oklahoma to death, Mississippi State to death, and Vandy to death. You cannot allow them to get cheap yardage out there in the flats. I still don't think they can protect their quarterback. I thought it was really, really weird that most of the TV copy that I saw from Vandy was them rushing 3, rushing 4, not really getting into forceful one-on-ones for these interior offensive linemen. That is what I would do. I would absolutely hunt the piss out of that center, that left guard, and whoever they got playing right guard. Is my man Campbell back? Let's look that up as well. Will you do that for me? Will you check their availability? I know that we don't have a media availability or injury report until tomorrow, but will you check whether or not DJ Campbell played last week? I think he's an important keynote figure at that right guard spot for these guys. I know he's been banged up the last several weeks. Still can't protect them. They don't run full 5-man pass concepts. They run 3-man pass concepts. They are a deep post, deep over football team with a hot into the flat. They do not run full 5 concept progressions, all right? So what I'm trying to tell you is they get 6, 7-man pass pros quite often. They're trying to hunt deep shots, okay? So we have got to add extra bodies to the box. Don't be out here dropping 8 like I felt like Vandy was quite often. We don't need all that back there. We can cover them with fewer bodies that we normally dictate to the back end because we just got done playing Mississippi State as a defense. They're a full 5 in the progression. They check the back out quite often. So a lot more threats to cover when we play those types of teams. Not a ton of threats here. So let's cover the threats, and everybody else get after the damn quarterback because we got a chance at it.
I do know that DJ Campbell played against Vanderbilt, which was their last game.
So we're good there. He's going to play this week, especially after a bye. That's good news for the Longhorns. Let's go on to our next thought. Thought he had time, like I said, against Vandy because they didn't really pressure him. I think you have to pressure this football team right about now. Texas is 74th in the country in quarterback sack percentage. That right there says exactly what I'm talking about. If you put 5 on their 5, you're going to get home. I fully fledged believe that, despite the fact that most people would agree Georgia has struggled to get after the quarterback this year. I don't believe that will be the case today. What's up?
Just worth noting that I just wanted to look back at one of their most recent matchups. Mississippi State had 5 sacks and 12 tackles for loss against Texas.
I'm telling you, it didn't get better. It has not gotten better. The last 6 quarters have been about number 16 being a freak from within the pocket. They still getting after him. They're still sacking him. They're still not being able to run the football. They still can't protect the quarterback. This is Arch is playing great ball right now, and they're getting explosives in the screen game. That's it. If we shut that down as a defense, you should have a good day out there. They have yet to establish the run versus decent defenses. Highly doubt they will suddenly do so against you guys on Saturday.
So it sounds like to me that you're going to have an offense that can't really protect the quarterback go up against a defense that statistically has not rushed the quarterback very well this year. Who do you feel like that matchup's favoring right now?
Well, I would say it's going to be give and take, okay? But here's the give. The give, you're going to get after him and sack him. The take is he's 6'3", 240 or 230 pounds. Most of your pressure has come from what's inside the pocket, inside the guards, okay? Their weak spots inside the guards. What I'm telling you is on half the snaps, you might sack him. On half the snaps, his big ass might be rolling right or rolling left. And right now, that is terrifying. Terrifying. I said the first time we watched him, their best passing threat right now is his legs. Him getting outside of really bad pockets, extending plays, getting into a scramble drill, hunting deep explosives down the field. This kid keeps his eyes downfield better than most. So it's a good thing that they're bad at inside, right? It's a good thing that you're going to be able to get pressure. It's a bad thing that most of the time he's going to be rolling out of pockets. Now, can C.J. Allen pursue him out? Can we spy him? Like those things, a whole nother different level of discussion for another day. But they have yet to establish the run. They're very one-dimensional. I think they're young and not Sark standard at tight end. Is that fair?
Yeah.
You've seen them a lot this year.
Their loss of Gunnar Helm this year.
Had a high standard with Gunnar Helm there last year.
Well, had a high standard under Sarkisian's offenses. Like you go all the way back to the Alabama days. That's O.J. Howard. Like Sark has great tight ends all the time. I don't think they're the standard for Sark right about now. I talked about the left guard being a problem area right now. It still is. I still don't think they're like wholesome at the center position. I don't know how Texas fans feel about their center. When I watch him, I get very much so Cade Webb, like in the sense that everyone thinks you're good, but I don't think you're good. Like my interpretation of where you're at and the interpretation of everybody else, the way that they talk about you, I don't feel that way about their center right about now. Wingo plus Moore plus Livingston. That is their catching options in that order. And they're used in very specific roles. Ryan Wingo is their deep plus yak guy. If I'm giving a screen, it's to 1. If I'm taking a deep shot, it's to 1. DeAndre Moore is used as their deep over guy, all right, and their inside tunnel screen guy. All right, they like him in the type of stuff. All right, and then Livingston, his roommate, is the trustworthy guy. So here's how I would worry about this. First down, deep shot, aggressive territories. All right, 2nd and 2s. Hey, watch out for Wingo. Play the tendencies there. All right, middle of the field, they're hunting an explosive 1st and 10 play action. Be looking out for DeAndre Moore on the deep overs. 3rd and 2, they can't run the football. Look out for Parker Livingston. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's how I would play their tendencies. And not really their tendencies as play callers, more their tendencies as a quarterback. That's who he's leaning on and how he's leaning on them is what I'm trying to get at right there. I mentioned it. I will hammer home the fact this is my last bullet point on their offense. I don't think they've gotten better. I think the quarterback has. And he's playing great ball right now. And it's very similar to the way I felt about that Alabama matchup. If they beat you, it's because the quarterback came in here and sliced you. And he can. He certainly can. And leaning on defense, which is where we're getting to next. I was disappointed in their tackling effort against Mississippi State. Really disappointed.
They've had some iffy games because it was similar to the way they played in Florida.
But statistically, they're so solid. It makes no sense. Like, they're a top 10 team against the run in the country. They didn't look like that against Mississippi State.
No, they did not.
They did not tackle very well. And if you're a top 10 run defense, you should tackle. Like, that's what you should be great at. It was very weird to see that happen. But again, statistically, solid. And personnel-wise, like, they're great. The Ethan kid, the Ethan Burt, or the tight end, or the defensive end, will you look his name up? Number 91. Great football player. Been playing SEC ball for a long time. Colin Simmons is the best hybrid edge rusher in college football. Ethan Burke. Colin Simmons is the best hybrid edge rusher in college football. Yanze Pierre playing great ball. Colin Simmons playing better ball. Okay. Anthony Hill, great football player. Is Michael Taft going to be available?
Yeah, he practiced.
He practiced, so he's going to be available.
It sounds like they're pretty healthy coming.
They're
into
pretty
this
healthy,
game.
and that's good. I want these two teams to be at their peak when they go at it. I don't want any excuses made in this matchup. I do think they're young and bustable at the defensive back position. Yeah, they're young and bustable in the back end, Kirby. That's what they are. I think the film and the statistics would prove that. They're still big and burlesome Texas in that box, though. That box is tight. That box is big.
Come on, man. You're just lobbing them up now.
I think that if you are an edge rusher and you're going on your recruiting visits and they're like, buddy, we're going to let you play so free. We're going to let you do whatever you want. We're going to let you be the guy. We think you're him. Then you better put up some Colin Simmons tape from Texas this year and go, oh, yeah, you're going to let me do that? You're going to let me do what that guy gets to do? I don't know if there's a player in college football that's playing freer and outside of the traditional roles of your position than Colin Simmons. That kid is the definition of a float player. He gets to float wherever he wants. Oh, they're running stretch at you? You want to jump inside? Go ahead, buddy. Oh, it's 1st and 10? Oh, it's 2nd and 6? These are run downs for this football team? You want to queue up a pass rush because you think the tackle's a little light in his stance? Go ahead, buddy. You get to do whatever the hell you want. This kid gets to play so entirely free, which is why I'd run right at him.
I was gonna
That's
say,
what you have to do to these guys.
Does that work out well for him more often than
Oh,
not?
yeah. No, he's a great player. And it's a great style for them because he's their only playmaker. Anthony Hill's great, don't get me wrong. But if anyone's going to create a fumble, if anyone's going to create a pressure that might get a pass that's intercepted, if anyone's going to flip the field right now, if anyone's going to create a fumble at the mesh point, it's number one. You know what I mean? So we have to let him do that. Because the only way we're going to get into a 2nd and 20 is if Colin does that, right? If he creates a hold or if he does something crazy. So, yeah, it makes total schematical sense. He is their best and most impactful player. Let him do whatever the hell he wants. I would let that happen. So, yeah, like Texas fans, I am of the belief that Anthony Hill is one of the best linebackers in college football. I would not go as far as to say he's like miles and away better than everybody else. I think he's great. I think he's going to be a damn sure great pro. But is this the guy from Feinbaum? Yes, it is. That's me. Hi. I'm the film guy. We talk a lot of ball around here. Welcome in.
I think One Dangerous is a regular.
He is a regular.
Oh, he was just hyping me up.
Yeah, he's lobbing you up an easy one.
Yeah. Thanks, Mundangerous. I got some more notes here. Anthony Hill, still Anthony Hill. I think if you tackle and protect, you should win the football game. If you tackle on defense and you protect your quarterback, you'd be all right.
My biggest thing about this game is, can Georgia still establish the run game against this Texas defense who's been really good against the run? Because the last time Georgia played a really good defense that was good against the run was Auburn. And I think Georgia finished with 76 rushing yards in that game. Now, he won the game still, but that's just kind of one of my questions of, can you still just like continue to rely on that against this defense?
The only team to really kind of hinder you is Auburn.
That's what I'm saying.
That
was the last really good run defense you played against.
It was on the road. It was a weird circumstance, and you lost Chauncey Bowens.
You also got put in a situation where you probably couldn't run as much as you would have liked to because you got down multiple scores. But that was just kind of my point of last time you faced one of these, you weren't exactly gashing them.
No, I mean, it's definitely something to pay attention to because Texas has the 3rd best rushing defense in the country statistically, while Georgia has the 19th best rushing offense. Like, it's a matchup that whoever wins that battle, I think, is going to be in a very, very good position to win this football game.
So here's the major question that not only we need to ask and that will be obviously talked about throughout this football game and the lead up to it. Does last year's both results in those football games, does it play any type of role in this game?
I don't think
They'll tell you no.
Texas fans, Texas will tell you no, too. Their players have been like, don't even know what you're talking about. Did we play last year?
I mean,
have no idea.
it's two different teams. You got
It
two
is.
They
different
are.
quarterbacks.
They are.
Georgia's offensive identity has changed.
Texas
has not. But, I mean, they have a different type of athlete at quarterback now. Like, both defenses are still solid.
Here's why I think it does matter. That 50 front defense has created a lot of problems for this Texas running game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just like Vandy's tried this against them. A lot of teams that have watched the success that Georgia had defensively the last two matchups against Texas have dusted off a very similar defensive game plan. I even saw Ohio State jump into it. So, like, these wide nines, you're not running wide zone. We're going to split the middle of the field. We're going to close it. We're going to open it. We're going to change the looks. We're going to give you one thing pre-snap. You're going to turn your back to the defense. We're going to be in a completely different look. I do think there is this is the third prep for a offensive coordinator and play caller in Steve Sarkisian that despite the fact that his quarterback is different, the system is not. Is that fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair to say.
The
But
quarterback's better. There's no doubt. We talked about it all year last year. I think we were one of the first to it. Like, hey, this other kid's pretty damn good. This kid is good. He's great. He's much better than the last one. I'm just saying. They got the keys. If there ever is a football team that has the keys to this offense, it looks like shoot.
Yeah, but the pushback on that would be that it feels like more so than ever teams have had the keys to figure out how to score on this Georgia defense. I mean, Kirby Smart has basically come out and said in pressers, like, we concede the first drive at this point because their schemes and their first scripts are so well written that they're going to score touchdowns. So there's also advantages on both sides, I think.
I will say this. I mean, Vandy dusted off the same game plan from a year ago and got shredded.
Mm-hmm.
Shredded. So,
To that-
obviously, Georgia, a lot better football team defensively than Vandy. But you
To
get what I'm
that
saying.
point, though, I kind of thought that Texas would do a few things different in the SEC championship game, and they really didn't. And Georgia was
Well, that
able
bluff screen.
Yeah,
That
they
bluff
did that.
screen hit almost twice.
Mm-hmm. But Georgia's defense was able to kind of really maintain them in that game. So,
Does it matter that Texas is coming off of a bye?
Yeah.
like health-wise, yeah, it does.
Health-wise and just general scheming.
Right.
You get an extra 2 or 3 practices to rep what you need to rep.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, yeah, I guess that. But the reps part, that certainly matters.
Yeah, and
but-
I will say this is mitigated by the fact that you were able to kind of get out of Mississippi State
You didn't play a
relatively
fourth
easily.
quarter.
You ran, I think, 5 or 6 different run concepts. You didn't really have to dust off anything that manufactured explosive. Your starters weren't really straining for the last 15 minutes of the game. So it was as good of a win as you could have had for the circumstances.
Here's a question I got asked today on Murray and Mack. Which quarterback you taking? I separated this into 2 different discussions. Who's playing the best and who am I taking right now with their parts? Give me Gunner.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me in 18 months. I'm taking 16.
Yeah, I think that if Arch continues to progress like we've seen over the last 6 quarters, the ceiling for Arch Manning is higher. I think we all knew that coming into the season. The consistency from Gunnar Stockton and the ability to have his team rally around him and play for him is something that you don't really see in college football anymore. And for that, I'll take number 14. Now, like you said, the ceiling, the trajectory, if everything continues to go right for Arch Manning, it is Arch Manning. But I don't think that that's going to continue to progress significantly enough to make a difference on Saturday.
Not overnight.
I think they're both 2 very good quarterbacks, though.
Yeah.
I like Gunnar Stockton a little bit more in this situation at home as well.
Yeah, today I'd take Gunner. He's been consistent the entire year. He's protected the football the entire year. I mean,
And
that guy's just been all around good. And not that Arch hasn't, but it's really been as of late, Arch has really started to pick things up for himself. But Gunner's just been little bumps up every single time throughout the week, it seems.
I just want to check something real quick.
What's
'cause
up?
I know that he had a really good 2 quarters against Mississippi State before, going out with an injury. But, yeah, didn't look great against Ohio State. Didn't look great against Florida. Didn't look great against Kentucky. Arch Manning hasn't played tremendous on
I would
the road.
argue they didn't. I mean, he threw for like 177 yards in that Oklahoma game. Like that, they didn't win because of him. I'm with you. They won because of Wisner, in my opinion. And I think anybody who watched that football game, defense, special teams, and Wisner. It's
gonna
been
do
the
some-
last 6 quarters, Kirby.
I'm going to do
And
some
I'm with
math
you.
real quick.
It's been the last 6 quarters of really, really good quarterback play for him. And it has nothing to do with anybody else around him. They haven't gotten any better. He's just getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there was some frantic play early on in the year, but I also thought like midway through the season when he's sucking, a lot of that was scar tissue, dude. Like you're just getting your doors blown off every time you drop back and play quarterback. That's not a winning recipe. No run game, no protection, and at the time, no real consistent weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Wingo just now popped.
Yeah.
Agree or
yeah.
disagree? It's been like the last 3 weeks that this guy's just now popped. Go check some game logs on me. Maybe there's an early season spit there where we got 130 yards, but I feel like it's been the last 3 or 4 football games where Wingo, and I think there was an injury in the midst of that, where maybe he had a finger going on or something. What do you got?
Oh, I was checking something else.
Oh, I
just
thought
out
you
of
were
my
checking
own
stats on
curiosity.
Wingo, but
No, I was going to bring up the fact that while Arch Manning is playing good, teams that struggle to run the ball and then walk into a game against Georgia and really struggle to run the ball and have to live and die by throwing the ball, it typically doesn't work out for them. Now, Alabama managed to do this, and like you mentioned, that's kind of what you would be. That's what you're afraid of going into this matchup if you are Georgia, is Arch Manning is able to put on a performance like that. But I mean, a big reason why Georgia was able to really kind of handle Texas the way they did in the regular season last year and ultimately beat them in the SEC championship game is because Georgia nullified their run game. And while Arch Manning isn't Quinn Ewers, I think that really kind of put Texas in a tough position against Georgia because they could not pick up yards in the run game consistently.
Yeah, I was looking at the splits for Arch Manning home and away. He throws for about 40 less on the road, so it's not that big of a split.
No, they don't strike me as a home-away football team like some of these other. They're a pro-style offense, that's why.
But to go back to what you were
There is a lot of window dressing, though.
To go back to what you were talking about, Jay Will, there is an opportunity here, and I think the requirement is going to be being that efficient on third down. It felt like when we were sitting in that booth watching Alabama do what they did in Sanford was almost an anomaly. No team's going to play this well on third down. No team's going to be able to convert this many and have this many sustained drives. And you did all of that, and Alabama walked away with 2 points and got shut out in the second half. I don't think that that's going to be the recipe for success against Georgia this week. I think that if it is something they're going to have explosives, consistently getting explosives, Arch Manning getting outside the pocket, causing issues, I don't know if they're going to be able to just, hey, we don't want to have a run game today.
I did see where someone in chat said that Texas is 129th in penalties.
They are. I have a couple of stats that I broke down.
I wish I
A lot of
knew
holds.
how many of those holds. That's what I was going to figure.
They're a bad holding football team because of the way that they play offense.
Yeah, I mean,
The way that they stretch
Stretch
the way that
zone-
they run wide zones.
stretch zone consistently leads to more holds, and when you don't have a very good offensive line, you're going to get even more holds. By the way, Georgia's 34th in the country in penalties. So there's a couple of interesting statistics to break down from this game. I think that, like we said, the biggest one was Texas's rushing defense versus Georgia's rushing offense. Texas also has the 10th best turnover margin in the country at 0.9 per game. So I think that's going to be the other thing to pay attention to. If they can force turnovers against Georgia, now they've been very good at taking care of the football as of late, but if Gunnar Stockton has an errant throw or if you had a fumble somewhere along the way, Texas typically takes advantage of that. Georgia's also the worst team in the SEC at sacks for 125th. So that does kind of, again, it's kind of a style clash of a team that can't protect their quarterback versus a team that can't get after him. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Georgia's one of the best teams in the SEC with yards per play at 6, so that's going to be very interesting to watch. I think that this basically boils down to we've seen Texas sputter mightily throughout the year. We've also seen them explode. That said, I don't know if Georgia plays with fire more than any other team in the conference. They do that more than they should, absolutely. It's going to come down to how many times can Arch Manning get out of the pocket and extend drives for this team? Because it's been shown that it can happen.
Yeah, those are. I don't know, but like team. And here's the thing: is like, and I saw. I can't remember who it was. I saw someone throw up a stat about how Georgia did this last year, where, like at the halfway point of the season, they were one of the worst teams when it came to sacks, getting pressures, all that stuff. And then the bye week happens, and for the second half of the season, Georgia was much better at getting sacks, much better at pressure rates. And I think that you've kind of seen this too with how Schumann and them have, like you mentioned, Brooks, how they've kind of changed how they're trying to get after the quarterback when their sacks happen. Like it's a whole lot more of using C.J. Allen up the middle and trying to push it up there, as opposed to like at the beginning of the year, I think you're just trying to figure it out as a collective, like, where is the best way for us to find these pressures and get after the quarterback? I think Georgia's kind of found their identity there. So I think that's certainly something that could play a factor here as well.
Here's a question for you.
What's up?
How much is Zayden Walker a name to learn ahead of this matchup?
Oh, I mean, we saw him get dusted off last week. So now I don't know if that was because they needed immediate wins. If you play that hybrid 9-tech role this week, you better be able to hold the point against the run.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in that game because he could get home on Shapin now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if the can we get home now this week is all that important. Can we convert run to pass? That's the important thing this week. You know what I mean? Can we hold up against a play action fake that might be stretched to our face and then shuck a block and get home?
Is there a possibility he becomes your kind of designated third down guy?
For sure. I mean, they're looking for DPRs all the time, designated pass rushers. And that's all who has the highest win rate in one-on-ones. I can guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
If you are winning the most reps in one-on-one Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday at that place consistently week over week, you're going to get moved into a DPR role. I mean, we saw this with Chris Cole. We're seeing this with Zayden Walker now that Chris Cole's dealing with something. What is that, by the way?
I don't know. I have no idea.
He got a hangnail?
Heck if I know.
It might
got
be
a toe?
It might be a classic Daniel Harris groin.
Okay. He got a set of lungs? I don't know.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Honestly, I'm good. I know we're an hour and 50 into the show instead of 2 hours into the show. But I ain't gonna lie to you. I've got about an extra hour and 10 minutes to play with right about now. And I think I should use that to get prepared for what to expect film study for tomorrow for those of you that are going to watch us to find out what is to know about this Texas defense. So I'm going to go grind that tape. You guys go ahead and grind that thumbs up button. All right. And I'll see you here tomorrow live at 8 o'clock. But before that, you'll have 2 uploads tomorrow. So make sure you tune into those. We love you. We'll see you. Bye.